All right, good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Traylor here, Sports Plus. Today we're going to be talking about ergonomics and setting up your home workstation in as best a way as possible. For those of you that are working at home for the first time, you probably don't have a home office that's set up kind of exactly how it should be. So we're just going to give you a few tips and tricks for when you're kind of makeshifting your office for the next few weeks, how to work safely and make sure you're not putting any undue stress on your body. With that being said, the first and most important thing we're going to teach you about is just remember to keep moving. At least every hour, you should get up and take what we'd like to call a rest break. That would be just doing something that's not what you were doing before. So sitting, typing, looking at a screen, that sort of thing. At least every hour, you should be getting up, walking down, getting a cup of water, running to the restroom, and then getting back to what you were doing before. So I'm going to go ahead and write that on here. Just move. So that was part of what our rest break. We're also going to give you some task breaks, which is something to do while you're sitting and working. The rule of thumb that we like to use is the 20-20-20 rule. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. 20-20-20, super easy to remember. Every 20 minutes that you sit staring at a screen, you should stare at a blank wall that's 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So again, just to go over that one more time, every 20 minutes staring at a screen, you look at a blank wall that's 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And while you're doing this, it's an opportunity to do some of those tasks. So first one we like to do is nice big shoulder rolls. Kind of go in each direction, forward and back, kind of self-massage, and the traps and the levators, rolling the head around, and then Brugger's posture relief pose, which looks like this. So during those 20 seconds, a good opportunity to do those tasks, keep everything loose and moving, and kind of break up the monotony of all that sitting. Kind of getting into the ergonomics of the workstation, and while you're there, we're going to talk about what it's like when you're sitting there. As Dr. Asturias always likes to say, tall spine, tight core. So that's going to be the biggest and most important thing while you're sitting. And then your chair should be comfortable, but not too comfortable. Comfortable to the point where you can sit there and do the work that you need to do, but not too comfortable to the point where your posture just goes out the window and you start slouching. So try and find a happy medium if you have a chair that can do that, but that's why it's nice to take those rest breaks and those task breaks in case the chair is not perfect, not ideal, since you are at home. Kind of talking about the screen itself. When you're looking at the screen, it should be about an arm's distance away from you. Any farther than that, you'll notice you start to lean forward and your eyes will start to squint more because you're trying to see what's on the screen. So about arm's length away is an ideal distance. Monitor height should be about, your eyes should be level with the top 25% of the screen, so you're not having to look all over the place and your head can stay in a nice neutral position. When you're reaching around for things on your desk, we like to keep everything in what we call the optimal reach zone. So with your elbows by your side, everything you can reach in this area is the optimal reach zone. Keyboard, mouse, glass of water, whatever it may be that you need while you're doing your work, it should be in this area. We want to avoid having to reach out for things, and then even worse than that, reach out with everything to grab something. So try and keep everything in here in our optimal reach zone. Right in this area. When we're sitting in this chair that's comfy but not too comfy, we want our knees to be level with our hips or slightly below. So at kind of a 90 degree here between torso and thigh, 90 degrees or a little bit below. We don't want our knees above our hips. That's just going to lock up those hip flexors, and that's going to be no good. So at level or just a little bit below. Furthermore, with the chair, when you're sitting there, the back of the knee should not be rubbing on the chair. You want about an inch in between the knee and the chair. Go ahead and put on your knee height. Kind of go along with that for sitting. Feet should be on the floor or on something to support them. They shouldn't just be laying there dangling in the air, having them supported with something. Armrests are comfy. They're great. We love using them, but only use them when you are resting, during one of your task breaks or one of your rest breaks. Don't use the armrest while you're typing, while you're mousing. Take your arms off them, use them, take the arms off the armrests, mouse, and then come back. Don't keep it on there. So we say armrests, no, only when using. Armrests, only at rests. Furthermore, kind of on a similar note there, is just like we don't leave our arms on the armrests when we're not resting, don't leave your hand on the mouse when you're not using it. With that being said, try not to use the mouse if possible. Use a trackpad would be awesome because it kind of stays in that optimal reach zone. If you can mouse in the optimal reach zone, that's great. But again, we just want to avoid having to reach out and make all these muscles work harder than they have to. So I'm going to say limit mousing. It might be a little bit hard as far as the lighting goes in the house. You can't really change a whole lot there, but trying to avoid light going onto the screen. So we're having glare. Glare on the screen causes increased eye strain, which we want to avoid. And the last thing I'll say is when you are doing your typing, there's kind of two different types of typers. If you're a proficient typist, you spend more time looking at the screen than you do at the keyboard. You'd want the keys to be either level with your hands or slightly down. That will be the most comfortable position for you. If you're what we call a hunt and peck typist, where you spend more time looking at the keys than looking at the screen, keys should be level or slightly up. Nothing crazy like this, just slightly up or level for someone that has to look down at the keys when they type. And just the last note on the keyboard is don't hit the keys super hard. It's nice to have a keyboard with good tactile feedback so you don't have to overstrike and you have to put less force into it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the keyboard on here. And then with that being said, just remember to get up and move at least every hour, taking advantage of those rest breaks. Take a walk to the other room and come back, go in the kitchen, get some water and come back, run to the restroom. At least every hour, getting up out of that position. That's going to be the biggest thing. And then remembering that 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, they're looking at the screen, look at a blank wall 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So top two up here, kind of the two most important things to keep in mind when we're at home and making kind of makeshifting a workstation. So just remember getting up and moving and trying not to spend too much time staring at a screen. And the same screen rule applies for watching TV, watching movies, that sort of thing. It's not just staring at a work computer. So try and incorporate that every day while you're watching TV. Kind of commercial breaks, kind of rub the shoulders. We'll do our shoulder shrugs, and then we'll do some Brugers. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email, give us a call, let us know. We can kind of walk you through a little bit more of this, and we'll post all this stuff on there for you guys to have. No questions. We'll see you guys in our next session.